My mother said, "You are alone, be strong." I truly became strong. Years later, when the same people came asking for support, I did not demand an accounting of the past. I simply made a decision in the present that they will never forget. I heard that sentence at a bus stop, phone pressed to my ear, the cold sinking into my bones. My mother's voice was on the other end, calm but distant. "You are alone, be strong." Then the line went dead. The Chicago wind pushed through my coat, and for the first time I felt clearly that being alone is not a temporary condition. It is a responsibility. In that moment I tightened my grip on my bag, boarded the bus and told myself fine, then so be it. I was 23 at the time, living in a small apartment where the heater never quite worked. I had dropped out of college because I couldn't afford the fees. During the day I worked in a medical billing office. At night I waited tables at a bar. Some nights the tips were decent, other nights they barely existed. Student loans sent reminders every month, my credit card hovered near its limit, and hospital bills from an accident the year before still followed me. I had asked my family for help. The answer had been the same: be strong. So I learned how to be strong. I learned to pay bills on time even if it meant surviving on noodles for a week. I learned to stand my ground in doctors' offices, to argue quietly but firmly with insurance companies on the phone. I learned things no one teaches you: how to read paperwork, how to understand the truth hidden in fine print, how to set emotions aside and make decisions anyway. My mother called occasionally. The conversations were brief. She would ask, "You're okay, right?" And I would say, "Yes." We both knew it was a half-truth, but we agreed to let it stand. The rest of the family was busy with their own problems. I was not on their list. Years passed. I changed jobs and found a better office. Lower pay but a lot more to learn. I quit the night shifts. I bought an old laptop and started taking online courses. All of it happened quietly, without applause. I watched myself becoming strong. Slowly, without drama, but steadily. Then one day my mother called and her voice was not the one I knew. It was anxious, fractured. "We need help." For a moment something inside me shook. Old words, old wounds, all rose at once. I said nothing. She kept talking. My father had lost his job. They were behind on mortgage payments. There was also a legal issue they didn't understand. "You're sensible," my mother said, the same word as before, but this time it was a request. I took a breath. I said only, "I'll come." The house was the same, but the atmosphere had changed. The Ohio neighborhood where I grew up was still quiet, but inside everything felt scattered. My father sat at the kitchen table, papers spread out, exhaustion in his eyes. My mother kept making coffee as if staying busy could keep silence away. No one hugged me. We made small talk about the weather, about my drive. Then I picked up the files. I asked questions. I listened. I did what I had been doing for years. No one interrupted me. Maybe because now they believed I could handle it. I gave them the name of a lawyer, explained how to talk to the bank, pointed out the places where they were hurting themselves without realizing it. I also told them that some decisions had to be made immediately or the damage would grow. My mother said softly, "We trust you." The words hit somewhere inside me, but I didn't let it show. I just nodded. Within a few weeks, things became clear. The house could be saved, but there was a cost. Some habits had to change. Some control had to be given up. And most important of all, authority had to be shared. One evening I sat everyone down at the same kitchen table. I spoke plainly. I said I would help, but with conditions. Decisions would be shared and some decisions would be mine. Without argument. My father said, "This is our house." I replied calmly, "And this is my time, my effort, my responsibility. If you want me to stand with you, I need authority too." Silence filled the room, the kind of silence where truth breathes. My mother looked at me, perhaps for the first time, as she would look at another adult. Then she said, "All right." This was not revenge, at least not the way people usually imagine it. I did not list old wounds. I did not ask for repayment. I simply made a decision in the present, clear, practical, without emotion. It was new for them, perhaps difficult, but necessary. Months passed. The house stabilized. My father found a new job. My mother learned to cut expenses. I reduced my weekend visits because I had my own life too. But the phone calls changed. Advice was requested, not orders given. One day my mother said, "You really have become strong." I smiled and said, I was always strong. I was just alone. Today I live in the same country but firmly on my own feet. My debt is not completely gone yet, but the path is clear. I have drawn my boundaries. Family is still family, but the balance has shifted. I know now that even if I step back, I will not break. My mother had said, "Be strong." I became strong. But that strength now has softness in it too, for myself and only as much for others as does not make me weak. That is the decision they will never forget. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like this video to support the message. Subscribe to the channel for more powerful real-life stories about silent strength and resilience. Your support helps these voices be heard. Thank you for watching and being part of this journey.